So I drew Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen as a French maid in 3 lines. If you've never seen any of my videos or don't understand what that means, let me show you. Before you say, "I'm actually doomed, that's not a line," why don't we look at what the dictionary says? A mark, as by a pencil, that forms part of the formal design of a picture, distinguished from the shading or color. I bet you feel pretty silly right now. Anyway, you guys seem to like it, but I did not. So I'm going to turn that drawing into a full illustration, and I'm going to fix the things I don't like along the way. Before I start though, if you want access to exclusive art, early videos, and even get to pick what I draw for a video, join my Patreon. Now let's get started. First and foremost, I don't think this really looks like Maki. I do try to draw in my own style, but I'm always able to recognize the character I'm drawing. Here I feel like if we remove her scars, she could be just about any short-haired woman. To fix that, I needed to change up the face. First, Maki's eyes are a drastically different shape than what I've drawn here. Next, her nose is also much pointier. And now, at the nose, I want to bring up another thing that I'm going to change about this illustration on the whole. The original drawing was done with 3 continuous lines like you saw, and in order to complete that challenge, I had to connect things which I normally wouldn't, and create all sorts of tangents which make the whole drawing a lot messier than I'd like. The next compositional change I'm going to make, which I think makes this look more like Maki, is the hair. I want it to be obvious that this is her years after the events of the series. There's a pair of ways I've already tried to indicate this, but I'm hoping by giving her longer hair it makes her look older, while at the same time makes her look more like how we've seen her in the anime so far. Her facial features and her hair were the main things I wanted to change about this illustration, and now I think this looks a lot more like Maki. So now with that done, the rest of what I'm going to be doing is cleaning up the line art and tweaking her proportions just a little bit. One thing I did on the body in the original drawing that I'm changing here is that instead of outlining the scars, I'm going to do them entirely in the coloring step. So let's erase these. Now that the line art's done, it's time to color. It's a French Maid outfit, so it's going to be very similar to the original in color scheme. But I'm going to include shading that I hadn't before. I've been working on some digital shading techniques, and I wanted to practice them a little here. But before that, let's fill in the flat colors. I'm using a light desaturated orange for the skin tones, and a darker desaturated orange for the scar colors. For the skirt, I'm using a desaturated, very dark red, but not quite black because I still want to be able to see the outlines. For the hair, I'm going with a very dark green because you kept commenting that her hair isn't black, even though it is. Since we're going more with the anime look, I'm giving her the gold eye she has there instead of the green eye she has in the manga. And yes, I do see all those tiny white dots. They're definitely there on purpose and absolutely did not make me waste an hour fixing them by painting over them manually, only to find out during the editing step of this video that I could have fixed them by simply adjusting a setting on my fill tool. Definitely not. Here I'm finishing up the last of the scars, just using a flat brush to give it the rough edges. Now that the flat colors are done, I'm going to do what I didn't really do at all in the original drawing and add some shading. I'll be using a round brush and then erasing using an airbrush for the transitions where it's a soft gradient from light to dark. The softer shadows will appear in areas like the chest, the thighs, and anywhere that isn't in the path of a cast shadow. Areas where shading is caused by an object casting a shadow, like the nose or the skirt onto the thighs, the line of termination where the shadow stops will be more defined. Then for the hair, on another layer, I'm adding some highlights and then just erasing where the hair would cast a shadow on itself. Lastly, the original kinda has Maki just sitting in a void, and that's not really gonna change here. I'm not drawing a whole background, but one thing I can do to add depth and suggest a background is anchor the subject. To do this, I just need to imply that there is a surface Maki is sitting on, and the easiest way is by having her body cast a shadow. With that, the illustration's done, so let's compare the two. I think it looks a lot better. Let me know what you think in the comments, and while you're down there, give the video a like if you liked it. And as always, thank you for watching.
Can I be your superhero?